Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Monday Musings. Now it's not Monday, but there is a very good reason for that, and I'm going to let you know later on in the video why this isn't on a Monday. We're going to go through 3 topics that I put out on the Monday, things that have happened during the week, and get your reactions to it as well as my own. So let's go into this. So number 1, simple one this, Dimitri Payet, what do we do with him now? Personally, he's gone for me. I don't want to see him back in a West Ham shirt. That's my opinion. I know other people do have other opinions, so I'm not going to, shit all over their opinions by saying, that he shouldn't. But I think a majority of fans agree with me here and say that he should never play for West Ham yet again. He's done probably the worst thing you could do, and that's sort of mid-season just down tools, and when you're idolised at a club like he is, I feel that it amplifies the backlash that you get. We sing his name. There's rumours flying around left, right, and centre for why he did it. Family reasons. I understand that. I understand that family reasons could be something to do with it, but if you get to the nub of things, the real rumours, it could be one of many things. We probably don't know the truth yet, so we'll let that go over a little bit. For the things I've heard and the things I know he's done, it doesn't look good for Dimitri, and to come out and just down tools mid-season, that's a big no-no, especially in the position we are. There's ways and means to do things, but he's done things so wrong, it's unreal. But what do we do with him now? For me, we sell him, and we sell him early. We get the money we want for him, and we sell him on. I think it's quite favourable that we do it early, because I feel that we can use the money to invest in the squad. But even if he doesn't sell, I think we should be investing in the squad anyway. But I think getting him out early could probably finance another couple of signings, to not fill the gap. You're not going to get a player of Dimitri's class in the January transfer window, but it can certainly go a long way to, as much as Dimitri was a great player, we could all see that the effort weren't quite there this year, and that's debatable. People, he was doing okay in terms of assists and things like that, but it's just the all-round effort, and it seemed to be like he was the bag egg in the changing room, and he was bringing certain people down, and now we see against Crystal Palace, first half we was very shaky, but once we got going, and that hasn't really happened even with Dimitri in the team. So get rid, sign people that actually want to play for the club and want to be here, and so let's take some of your thoughts on this. That's how make Slav sell him for at least 30-35 million. If no club will offer that amount, fine him for every week he refuses to play. I agree with that. The PFA have a lot to answer for when it comes to things like this, because they let them get away with these sort of things. At Simply Mikael, let him rot for now, but if he changes his mind and comes out with a full public apology, I'll take him world class regardless. I disagree there, Michael. Even if he come out and apologise now, I think there's too much bad blood, and I don't think it'd be well received by the fans. It wouldn't be well received by me anyway. At Rob Herdodge, he's a negative influence now. Sell to the highest bidder. We can't play to his tune anymore. That's true. Once you let one get away with it, they'll all try it. Trust me. At Gary Mills, he says, I'll try and get rid of ASAP. Can't see a way back for him now. Wouldn't take less than 30 mil and would only sell to a foreign club. Very much agree that. If he goes to another English club, there'll be trouble, I think. At Hammer and Talk says he took it out on us regardless of his issue. That's unforgivable. Temporarily let him rot. Sell him in the new season. Yeah, why not? At Tom Down says, Nicky, we have to sell him now for financial reasons. Though would love if the ball done a Berahino and let rot in a reserve. So pretty much Sam Whitehammer and Talk said there. At Gales Martin, is anal rape an option? Unfortunately, Gales Martin, no, it's not. At Josh WHUFC, sell him in January. Clearly doesn't want to be here, so give him what he wants and we'll get a good price. At Irons Hammer 45, we should be pushing for Marseille to be investigated for tapping him up. If it were the other way around, we'd be getting nailed. Very true, very true. Jake, I'll have to just take a couple. There's so many here, but I'll just pick them out at random. At Jake Loadman, get rid of the bad apple. Simple as that. He betrayed all of us and fans. There's no place for him here anymore. At Olympic Hammers says out him ASAP for at least 35 mil. G Calliston, get rid of him. Don't want him, that Judas prick, back in our club. And one more. I'll take it from at Mark Sherburn. Sell him to a Chinese club. Now this is my preference, but maybe he won't take this. But this will drive the price up and then see how much Marseille want him. If get a decent price, sell. I'd sell him to China. That's where we get most of our money back. I don't really give monkeys about what he earns now. But if a Chinese club in, we could probably get back 70 million for him, the way they're going at the minute. So, yeah, great one, that one, boys. Thank you very much for your feedback on that one. Let's find the second tweet. So, number 2. After West Ham published a damning article by Martin Samuel, then seemed to be ignoring lies from the Sun, should the club be more defensive of us fans when it comes to the English press? Now, I do understand that the club sometimes have their hands tied by these sort of things. You know, when the club make issues about these things, you know, the press have got a way to turn these things around, and you know, it's difficult for them to sometimes, you know, say anything because, you know, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, sort of thing. But in case of the Martin Samuel article, a massive mistake by printing that, in my opinion. Very damning to fans. Was very. It was pretty much undermining what they say about the stadium. You know, our opinions are our opinions, and that is, you know, the way that people want to be. You know, people want their voices heard, and I've got some information on that in a second, but don't you worry about that. We want our voices heard when it comes to regards of what's going on in the stadium, and by doing that, it felt like West Ham were just undermining every fan that's got a grievance and saying, look, you're wrong, we're right, which is, you know, it's beyond belief, really, that we would print that. A massive piece of stupidity by the club, especially at times when relationships are strained a little bit. But should they make more, you know, more of a defence of us? Yes, they should. You know, we get painted in the press as thugs, as animals, and all that. And sometimes West Ham should stand up and say, actually, you know, even if it's just publishing a article on the website, you know, a website, distributing it to a few more impartial news sites, you know, like blog sites and things like that, like people like us, for instance, and say, you know what, no, actually, you know, when we talk about the Wally Downs Jr. Article that was published, you know, his old man used to be our assistant manager or something to do that, like some sort of coach or something, and you know, he didn't leave the club on great terms. So, you know, sometimes there's a bit of bad blood there, you know what I mean? And like, outing us in the English press as animals and all that, you know, we all know the Crystal Palace game, it had nothing to do with that. It was a fight between the away fans and the stewards because they was trying to take a drum away. Now, nothing to do with us, but we was painted as the bad guys yet again. It's just easy story, it's easy money for the papers, it's an easy story to run. You know, who's not going to believe it after everything has been printed? But that's why the club should come out and say, actually, no, it wasn't our fans, it was, you know, an issue between their fans, and our fans had nothing to do with it. They should be more defensive of us sometimes, you know what I mean? Even though, you know, we're not angels, you know, all fans are not angels, you know. I get involved in a little bit of argy-bargy, not argy-bargy, I mean a little bit of banter and things like that. Never been involved in violence, I must say that. But, you know, everyone has got that little devil streak in them, especially when they go to football, especially when you've had a couple too much to drink. But that was nothing to do with us. And for the Sun, I mean, if I was West Ham, I'd be looking to sort of look into some sort of libel case, because I don't even think the guy must not have been there if he thinks that. But anyway, that's my opinion. They should be a little bit more defensive of us, and they certainly shouldn't be publishing things on their website. So anyway, let's take some of your stuff. Tom Down 3 says, yes, some of the shit from the journos totally biased and wrong. They clearly have an agenda against us. The board should condemn them. Very true. At Jake Logan said, 100%, especially with all off the field issues that have happened, the club's first thought should always be us fans. At Mark Russell 09, definitely the club would do nothing without us fans, but seems we're just cash cows to them. At Josh WHUFC, yes, the club should be defensive over fans, because without us there's no West Ham. Very true. At WHU Hector, if there were issues in the corporate sections, you can be sure they'd be sorted immediately. We're just replaceable cattle. Their attitude is, if you don't like it, sod off and someone else will take your place. They show fans dismissive contempt. Clarent Blue Blood, yes, but totally understand why they don't. It would be even more bad press for the club if they hit back. That's what I just said. Sometimes, they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. But they shouldn't publish it on the website, and they should sometimes make a statement saying, actually, no, nothing to do with us. Harry Hamilton 97, we the fans of the core of the club. If they can't defend us, then who does? Club have absolutely embarrassed us fans. At MN Hammer 62, to what was a fabrication and a pathetic attempt of sensationalist journalism by another Sun hack writer. Totally agree. Don't buy the Sun, as my friends in Liverpool would say. Alex PB Sport, yes, they should, because without us fans, the club won't run, and we are patient enough with us, and we are patient enough with the stadium move. Couple more on this. CGG forever. The club talks regularly about uniting fans. Defend us against press instead of chastising us on the club website. Mark Sherburn, you give access to support. You add support to a reporter. He will write what you tell him. Is the club sending us a message? He clearly isn't an investigative reporter. If the article was negative towards the club, it wouldn't have gone on the site. Agree with that. At WHU 18, no way, they will fight back fans, especially while Lady Muck's getting paid by that certain organisation for a great football insights. I'm going to take one more on this. At Joshua Lister 8 says, let's face it, no ball can stop journalists being journalists. So, let's get to the third one, because I'm quite eager to talk about this one. Now, I'll tweet this out. What would you change at the London Stadium to make our experience as fans more enjoyable? Now, I tweeted this out for a reason, because on Thursday of last week, and they made me promise I couldn't say anything, so I didn't say anything, but I thought I'd subliminally get some feedback. West Ham phoned me up, West Ham United, very nice guy there called Max, phoned me up and said, we are holding a meeting with some bloggers and we'd like you to come along. Now, I was quite shocked, because West Ham have never in the past extended a hand out to us. We've been very vocal, we've been very critical, we've been very negative at times, but again, we're just truthful, so we try to get the balance. When they do things right, we praise them, but a lot has been done wrong, so we accepted the invite. So we said, what is the meeting about, who's it with? So what happened was, a load of West Ham bloggers with various audience who can engage with the fans like us, and get a little bit of feeling about what is going wrong in the room. So the meeting was with Miss Karen Brady herself. Personally took time out to come and meet us. Another couple of guys, a guy called Paul Cook, and somebody whose name really escapes me now, but I apologise for that. and they met us in a room, face to face. And I've got to say this, I was a little bit sceptical at first. I was like, yeah, they're going to get us in a room, they're going to play lip service to us, they're going to do this and they're going to say this. And I had a real not negative attitude, but a very doubtful attitude, may I say. And it wasn't like that. It was very open. It was very productive. I won't say who was there in terms of bloggers. I mean, if they want to write back, that's fine. But I'm just going to say we was there and a few other West Ham related sites. It was very productive, and they pretty much listened to what we had to say. So what it is, I took some of the feedback here, and I took it straight into the meeting. So first thing I spoke about before anything else was the stewarding and what was going wrong with the stewarding. The fact that these stewards were getting heavy-handed. She was very interested to hear these things. Miss Brady, she was very interested to take the feedback from us. Everyone chipped in the room. It wasn't just us. I mean, we raised the issue, but everyone was chipping in, and everyone was pretty much saying the same thing. So, what can make it better? And we spoke about so many things. I'll just speak about a few of the main issues that I think that we put forward. And one of the main issues was the heavy-handedness of the stewards. Now, they have agreed to meet us again in 3 months' time, if all goes well, and we'll see where we are from there. And any feedback that you've got for that sort of thing, you can talk to us, and we can relay it to them. We've got a direct line now to the very top, which is something I think the club needed to embrace. I think the club needed to reach out to these things. They needed to reach out to you, and they reach out to you. It's impossible to have 60,000 people in a room, because and sort out like individual, problems to an extent. Like everyone has individual problems, and they should deal with them. West Ham, you know what I mean? But in a whole, it's like the main issues that have come up, like the stewarding, for instance. So we spoke about that. And West Ham have promised to start implementing different systems in. And again, 3 months' time, we'll have another meeting with them. If it isn't working, we'll raise it again. Another issue we raised was the people in the filming stuff in 114. The people have issues with the lady filming, and she said quite openly, they're not trying to ban people, they're trying to catch coin chuckers. There was a few topics that we went through, but let's have a look at some of yours, and I'll tell you what I raised. Lukey Malden, definitely amount of white seats. It needs a bigger splash of claret and blue. Also, make a standing singing section. So we did talk about this a little bit. They're looking to implement that in the next, because they spent a lot of money on the seats. They say they could spend some more, of course, but they're looking at that for the next couple of seasons. Bonds is God, WHUFC, Messiah. Extend the east lower close to the pitch, and call it a chicken run. Every fan would know what to experience and to expect. Now, I do have a little bit of news on the pitch. Unless something drastic happens, the pitch is the stands are not going any closer to the pitch. It's not possible physically. We did raise that issue, but it's not. It doesn't look like it's going to get any closer. Okay, next one, Slav. Seats closer to the pitch. We've already said that that's not going to change anytime soon, but you never know what might happen in the future. Singing standing blocks. Yep. Quick serving at the bars, bottom field cups maybe, ban less threats. Yeah, well, we spoke about singing and standing blocks. They know what ones generate the atmosphere. I think that will carry on. Even if they wanted to stop it, I don't think they could. Quick serving at the bars, bottom field cups, maybe less band threats. Now, we did talk about that. That was one other thing we did talk about is quick serving at the bar, getting these pre-poured, getting beers ready to go rather than having to wait for every single individual person to ask for a pint of lager and to have it poured out of a bottle in front of them, because it slows everything down, quite frankly. And they promised that they would get that implemented. Family area away from standing, put all historic South season ticket holders together in the same block, meaning meeting the players it's endless. Yeah, I agree with that. Also, a bit more claret and blue would be nice, especially seats. We spoke about that. They just need West Ham stewards inside the stadium around the pitch. That is exits / segregation, etc. If it means Brady hiring more. Now, we did talk about that as well, and we talked about who holds the contracts and why the stewards ain't doing that. And they promised that they was going to make another call out to stewards, and there's a new position that there will be people looking into that sort of thing. So you probably hear all of this on another website anyway. If I'm not getting it right, go and check out their stuff. A lot of people in that room tonight. Proper seating down the sides and safe standing at each end. That's a Premier League thing, not a West Ham thing. That was raised as well. That needs to be raised by the whole of the Premier League. More stuff leading up to the stadium, like the bowling. The second you got the stadium, it felt like a football game. Out of the stadium, I think you went to the station there. Again, we spoke a little bit about that, and there is a plan to do something along the bridge. I can't talk too much about that, but it'd be a good thing if that comes along. But it's due to planning permission. It's not being done straight away. A few bookies would be nice. And do they have any at the OS? Apparently they do. I know I've never seen them around my side, but that was raised as well. So they're going to raise the issue with that. Moving the seats closer is ideal, but won't work due to the huge gap between the tiers getting bigger. Stadium parking for me. We didn't talk about parking, but I will bring that up in the next one, definitely. Move the seats closer to the pitch and hire more West Ham stewards. Same again. These have all been spoke about, and I'd get rid of anything Payet related. We'll see about what happens there. I'm sure they will not make that mistake again. Olympic Stratford, knock it down and start again. I'm pretty sure that's not a West Ham account, because his name's Olympic Spanners with binoculars, and yeah. At Dempsey Hammer, somewhere to put your beer down, no ledges or nothing to hold your cold beer and freeze and concourse. Now that was another thing I raised, and Miss Brady agreed. She fully agreed that there should be somewhere to put your beer. So look forward to that getting put in. Allow standing, only step in when absolutely necessary. Put toilets and food drink facilities upstairs. Now I'm not sure what you mean by upstairs, because I'm in the COP, so it all sort of, as far as I knew, it was all sort of like one big, I don't know, it's not sort of separate things, it all leads to one part, but yeah. So I'm not too sure what that means. I'll have to have a look next time I'm in the stadium. Get rid of the gaps between the upper and lower tiers, plus pay for the proper retractable seating. More turnstiles, being back the Green Street burger vans and stalls, better stewarding standing section. Stewarding is poor, need more West Ham United stuff outside the stadium. Palace games quality though, felt like my club again. I agree with that. More of the Palace stuff, please, which they agreed with. Get the retractable seating closer to the pitch. Also needs to feel more West Ham, some more claret and blue seats. The bubble machines, yeah, they do know that they need to sort out the bubble machines. It's because of the lack of air in the stadium, they said. A couple more on this. Stop getting searched like we are criminals, and maybe put some more colour of West Ham in and around the ground. Now, that's from Ian Latimer, 80s. I do agree with that to a certain extent, Ian, but I do understand why there are searches after, of course, what happened in Paris and our stadium being quite a famous stadium. I do understand why they do that, but it's ridiculous at times. And, and I think the issue was raised tonight about that, actually. Yeah, I think it was. So, yeah, they're going to look into that as well. As I say, we meet again in 3 months. If things ain't getting any better, you tell us and we'll tell them. Colour the grey walls, get rid of trampoline areas and change stewards. Well, they're not going to get rid of the trampoline areas, right? That's the thing. Now, on the issue of the grey walls, yeah, we brought that up again, and West Ham have given me the contact. Obviously, I'll give you the contact at the end or in the description. Now, that was a massive thing tonight, right? So, what they said about the grey walls is West Ham wanted to colour the walls claret and blue, yeah, which was their preference. The grey walls have been kept as grey walls because the stadium obviously hold the right to the naming rights. Now, it's been held back for when a naming rights deal comes in place, and then there's a space to put the name of the stadium. But, yeah, and this is a big but, I think this is a very good gesture as well. They said we can cover them in flags. Yeah, no issue with that whatsoever. As long as the flags do not contain, certain words and things like that, but we can cover them in West Ham flags. And instead of having us searched every time we come in and having to explain away our flag, they have give us a contact of someone that you can send the flag into, and they'll put your flag along them in the spaces where you sit for you for when you get there. So them flags will be taken off of you, sent into the club and decorated all around. Now, I thought that was a good gesture by the club, to be quite honest with you, because that would go a long way in saving people a lot of trouble. Now, up to you what you think about that. Let me know in the comment section down below. And it's all going on about the same thing. Retractable seating distance from the pitch. As I said, Hector, WHU Hector, that doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon. I wasn't happy because I'm not happy with it at parts, but, what can you do? I mean, it's obviously a stadium issue rather than, what West Ham can do about it. It's obviously the stadium's a multi-use stadium. I'm not happy. I'm not happy that it's not that close. I always knew it was going to be too far. I brought up the issue of them sort of not giving us the right wording when they said they was going to cover it with, cover the track up. It made it sound like they was going to cover it with seats, and it was a little bit like that. But I wasn't too happy with the distance, but it's not going to change for the foreseeable future, unfortunately. So it's just not swallowing it. It may change in the future. You never know if they ever decide to buy it, but it's going to take a lot of money and a lot of planning to get something done. And I'll take one more, two more. We need to chill out on the stewarding round one section. I understand they need to make sure everyone goes to their correct seat and no one causes trouble. But a lot of the time, it's stewards causing more trouble than the fans, and that was brought up as well. So I'm going to leave it there. Easy to find a shorter route from the stations to ground and back. If you wait 15 minutes, go to Pudding Lane. That's my advice. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Monday Music. I know it's been a long one. I know that I've waffled on. I know that maybe some things I made too much sense on, but one thing I've got to say is the club are making strides. They're making strides in contacting us to get feedback from you. So don't be scared. Don't be afraid to come up to us and tell us issues that you're having, and we can raise them. It's a massive step because it's something that we've been banging on about on West Ham Fan TV for a long time about, the club ignoring us, and they're not ignoring us anymore. We didn't reach out to them. We got to a point where we stopped reaching out to them because, apart from interactions on Twitter and things, you know, we was banging our heads against the wall. They just ignored us. And now, you know, our new guys come in the press. We got introduced to some very nice people who work there, and they've promised us that they will listen. And that's massive. That's massive for us. That's massive for you. And hopefully, as I said, you know, we're not here to stroke our own egos. We want to listen to the problems that you face, you know, and we can take them to them. And if they can be resolved, they can be resolved. But you should hopefully, because of that, start to see some sort of improvements. And if you don't, let me know. Names, take badges, take this, take that. You know, the club, you know, but they obviously want this to work. But, you know, what come across tonight is, you know, that there's a lot of stuff that they're not really, you know, they don't really want to talk about. They don't, you know, they can't talk about certain things. But if I've got anything from tonight, you know, Miss Brady at least wants it to work. And, you know, by giving us that doorway, that entrance into the club, you know, it just shows that they've taken a different stance and they're willing to meet this head on, you know, and let us give you the information. You know, we wasn't restricted on telling you things like this. So, yeah, I think it's a huge step in the right direction. I think we can use this to our advantage, and hopefully the experience at Stratford starts to get bit better. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Monday Musings. Join us again on Sunday for post-match pint, Scott's preview, FIFA preview, Ryan's transfer roundups continue. Graham will be back with an On The Social, and it all starts again next week. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Come on, you irons.